I was saying in the previous session that this fireflies note taker, it gives you the entire transcript of what we speak, sound into text. It also records the audio and it also records the video. Why I raise this issue, this topic, that within the period of 2 months, this AI has learned American Indian English language, and it gives you the very right words in transcript. What happens to us? We have been doing it for so long. We have been, you see that. So only reason is ignorance. So they all started laughing. I said, yes, that is a fact. So when we say inner potential, or to realize the inner potential, I have not to use the sense organs to start looking into something which looks like an objective reality. Because the senses, along with the mind, has to perceive the objective reality. Mind without the sense organs formulates the concept, ideas, principles through the thought, by which we can see something beyond the object. This guy is crazy. Now the crazy concept is from the mind. We are referring to the person as an objective person, and then crazy is a concept, it is a principle, it is a value. So my mind has to use these senses. We have to observe the facts. What is a fact? Fact means senses and the mind together and the object. What is the fact? I have a headache, I am happy, I am unhappy. So when I refer to that, I am happy and unhappy, I am the body. But that very happiness is not present in the body. That is the inner potential. That unhappiness is not. Body is unhappy? No. Body is happy? No. Yeah, body undergoes lot of changes. That is okay. I am unhappy. My blood pressure shoot up. Cholesterol level goes up. Autonomic brain. Brain is again a grey matter. The grey matter is objective reality. So our master, when they use the word inner potential, so leave aside. First, let us understand it clearly. The inner. So what is inner? At least we are fairly intelligent. We get rid of the bone and muscles and the other organs. Then when we close our eyes and we start looking, the mind is continuously jumping on to those images of objects, people, relationship, anger, hesitation, all the past impression plus prarabdha. I have to get rid of this to see something deeper. If I don't see that something deeper, if I don't develop the faculty of the mind to see something beyond the journey of this self-discovery and realizing the inner potential, will not work. That is why very initial and beginners training is given in Eastern wisdom by saying that we have three bodies: physical body, subtle body, causal body. It is not simply, it is not in philosophy, it is not an intellectual, it is a reality. So then how the Eastern wisdom educates our mind? It says the physical reality you perceive by the sense organs. Subtle realities you perceive by the mind. What is the difference between the two? Simple. What I can see through the sense organ, I cannot see the thought. I cannot see the feeling. The way I see the objects through the sense organs. So that differentiation is made. Why? To raise my awareness. Just look at it. Look at its application. So now what happens? I develop the faculty of the mind to have a subtle perception. So I look at my honey objectively, but I look more at the subtler level than at the physical level. Then what happens? My sensuality is reduced, my infatuation is reduced. So, because of those thoughts and feelings and emotions and attitude and the behavior, all at the subtler level, expressed through the body, that is different thing. But then I become more aware. I have to be more aware. More aware means the rise in consciousness. What is this rise in consciousness? Inner potential. I'm making it purely rational. You are an engineer, so it is good to have a cause and effect. Think in that way. Okay, what it means to my mind when I see you with the name and the form. What it means to my mind when I see the other person. We don't talk about that the person A, nose of person A is very flat, nose of a person B is very like a parrot. We don't talk about it. We only talk about the behavior and attitude and anxiety and the stress and the duality and a conflict. Look at it. We have to be. So that is what the inner. I'm not talking of the potential first. I'm just talking that we have to diagnose, we have to understand, we have to be aware of that behavior, attitude, thought, feeling, emotion, good, bad, likes, dislikes, long list. So we have moved to the inner. And in the inner, first time, everyone perceives the same thing. Like, dislike, good, bad, infatuation, sensuality, impulses, etc., 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 etc. Everyone. That is why it took Buddha 7 years to reach to that state. If we say Buddha is, enlightened, or any master, for any master, why to take example of the Buddha? So that is inner part, word inner. Now the moment you use the potential it means, all the garbage is there on inside, but in that inner, the beauty is also there, the peace is also there, the calmness is also there. No, no, you should not suffer because you are related to me. So I have a sense of sympathy and also the empathy. I have a sense of love. Oh, that is also present in the inner? Yes. Look at it. If emotion is not there, what the body will do? Analyze, investigate. Yes. I'm stimulating your mind. Yes.
What means increase in awareness? Because increase in consciousness. Consciousness is the same everywhere.
Yes, yes, yes. That is also a part of the inner. I am in anger, it is in association with the delusion, body, and the sense perception. And I am in calmness and peace, it is minus association of delusion and the body and the objective reality. Now compare the two experiences. So when you compare the two experiences, mind devoid of delusion, mind with the delusion. Behind that, consciousness is the same. But my experience is different. You're right. So my experience is different. So I have two experiences coming from the mind, reflected by the same kind. Consciousness at that level is the same. But when it is filtered by the mind, analyzed and observed, I see the two. Anger, calmness. I see the peace on one side. So that anger, that peace, calmness, love, truth, and wisdom is a higher consciousness. We are classifying for the sake of understanding. Otherwise, awareness is the same. Why we are classifying? To help us to evolve. You're right. When people say the sin is there, sin means merit. No, sin means demerit, and virtue means merit. So mind is analyzing and classifying. That classification, you can simply say sin means the lower consciousness. Lower consciousness means it is associated. It is not expressed consciously. It is automatic. It is mechanical. Consciousness is still there. So one is the rise in awareness, or you can say one is higher awareness. So lower and the higher consciousness, basically it is the one consciousness. How we can progress? Because mind will progress only by comparing, by distinction, by separation. Yes, that is a very good point. And the greater you contemplate, what the heck, honey, you are doing? You are crazy. Why I said so? I am pointing out, no, leave that craziness. As compared to? As compared to what? As compared to the same consciousness, manifesting in a different way, manifesting in calmness. Otherwise, you are right, 100% right. That is what our masters are saying. So, master begins with those principles who do not understand there is a sin. If you get angry, it is a sin. If you are looking at others' spouse, that is also a sin. You get in. We are making that person aware. Is the awareness is not present as when he is infatuated? Yes. So we are not talking of that. We say no. That then we try to make understand it's a lower consciousness, it's a higher. Do you understand? It's the same water. The same water is 0 degree at 100 degree. So that is why we need lot of metaphors to explain. Otherwise, you are 100% right. It is one consciousness. So now another question our masters have raised. If it is one consciousness, then why you are in stress? Stress cannot be experienced without consciousness.
Yes, of course, but it's a habit. It's part of the wrong education and
Yes.
wrong.
The moment you say it is a habit, then there is another state which is without habit. The moment you say there is a wrong, then there is a right. So we name it, it's a lower consciousness, a higher consciousness. It's okay. Uh, we don't worry about it. We don't, at a higher level. When we are a higher seeker, we reflect like this. We reflect. The space in a one bedroom apartment and the space in a big mansion is the same. The space is the same. So identify. Now, the space in the mansion, you have a bigger space. Bigger space perceived by the mind. That perception is the higher consciousness. Simple. But you are right again, I'm stressing on this point. You have to contemplate and reflect again and again. It is one consciousness. But we are not there. Because we are not there, so we have to create a concept of inner. And then we created a concept of inner. Then we are very much clear about what does it mean by inner. Where we were there. When I look inside, I see the entire garbage, and also I see the calmness. Peace is hidden as a very small fragment, and more is the habit and instinctive and the impulses. Mind says apply viveka. Then we created another concept. We say do discernment. Discernment simply means separating. And then when I separate one, then I apply, means I live in experience. I coin another concept, that is vairagya, the dispassion. Then I start living in discernment and dispassion. Can I say I'm living in higher awareness and higher consciousness inside? Yes. Then what happens? I experience in that state that calmness and this peace, shat sampatti, enters into my mind. But from where it enters? It enters from inside. It is not coming from outside. Oh, then I further rise in awareness? Yes, consciousness is the same. But with reference to the inner, I have to understand, I have to evolve. I have to understand. So we say it's a higher consciousness, you are evolving. That is why I named the topic in this year, realizing inner potential. Now potential, why it is potential? Something that is hidden, which is present there, but I don't know. But why I don't know? Because of my delusion, because of my ignorance, because of my hesitation, because of my infatuation, because the mind is following the wrong path. So potential means it is already there. But I don't see it. I don't experience it. I don't experience the calmness and the peace. Young guy yesterday, he told me his story, and he spoke for more than 45 minutes. He gave me only 15 minutes to speak. And his topic was disturbed sleep. And he is very intelligent, genius. He read all the research papers. He read all the latest in the science, how the endorphin and the hormone helps, and how the less amount of particular hormone causes the disturbances. And he's a builder. He builds big mansions that minimum cost is $10 million in this area. Minimum house with the cost. But I was amazed that he looked into it. And internally I was very happy. Why I was happy? I said at least his intellect is searching the solution. So I have only to do a very little work. I have to change the direction of his mind. So he explained to me this hormone, melatonin and serotonin level, they fluctuate, and that is the cause of the disturbed sleep. Someday I go to the gym for 2 hours, I return and I feel totally energetic. He is also very much, he's observing everything. So I was so happy. He's also observing. And someday I did nothing and I feel totally tired. On that day my sleep is disturbed. So he stretched very minutely. I said, you go to the gym, you practice for 2 hours, you return, you feel energetic. On the other day, you simply do not want to walk, you feel disturbed. So there is something inside you which is different and separate from these regulation of hormone, doing all the activities. That is what the sleep state is. So he started thinking. He said, yes, because I cannot deliberately sleep. But I said, you try deliberately to sleep. That is why you are not getting a sleep. Can you drop it? He recognized. This is the rise in awareness. Every moment you understand, that very understanding that you are moving towards from a relative knowledge to the absolute knowledge. Absolute knowledge, pure consciousness. Relative knowledge, that consciousness is manifesting, filtered by the mind and its content in a different variety of ways. Potential. We are talking about this potential. I said, is it possible? And then I gave him the story I told you before also. This guy who is immigrated from India again, he was my senior research scientist, a biochemist, and he is now 88 years old. Immigrated, he lives in Texas. So once you come, possibly will go and meet him also. So he never used to sleep for 3 days and 4 days. I gave him this example. You see the rise in awareness. It comes by understanding. So this guy, the young guy, is totally obsessed that how should I get the sleep? Then he also told me I have a sleep apnea, I have insomnia. He gave me 3 more diseases, names of the diseases that I don't remember. So I recognize that he is totally obsessed with these thoughts and ideas, and he is not looking the potential. What is that potential? Every living human being, including the animals, have 3 states: the waking state, and the sleep state, and the dream state. Every human being. You live as it is, you will fall into sleep. But here is a practical example of potential. So 3 days he never used to sleep, and on the 4th day he used to return to the office. He's totally fresh until noon, and after the noon, wherever he is, whether he is on a chair, or he used to just lie on the floor and he's sleeping for 6 hours. Even the director never objected to him because he was very productive. Very productive. Because 3 days you are working. you're contemplating, you're writing research papers. I learned how to write a research paper from him. Why I'm giving this example is very important to understand inner and inner potential. So we used to ask him, what the heck, why don't you sleep? Why you don't feel upset? No, he said no. But how come? He said that sleep is a natural phenomena. It is done by the nature. I am not getting a sleep. Why should I force the nature to sleep? What a beautiful way. So I told this young guy, are you understanding this? Can you keep this thought in the mind? That let the nature allow me to fall into sleep. I don't do it deliberately. I should not do it deliberately. And he lived his life. People say that if you don't sleep for 2 or 3 days, you will become insane. He was sane. He was a genius. We have rumors. We heard also that Elon Musk sleeps for about 2 hours. Genius is a form of insanity which is expressed in his behavior. Also. But we say the genius is a form of expression of the pure consciousness. Our goal is different. Our goal is totally different. That is what the inner potential is. That genius, we simply say absolute consciousness. We don't say how much you can manipulate, how much you can do other stuff in the world. No, we say no, it has nothing to do with it. In realizing inner potential, if you look at realizing means experiencing, understanding. What is that understanding? In the life of a seeker, we have started doing the practice, we have started understanding, we have started applying these principles, but still we have a lot of garbage in the mind. So every day I'm living that life of a seeker. I recognize and realize this anxiety, this reaction, this anger, this stress has come from this garbage, throw it out. I realize today. I realize something next day. That is what the realization builds upon step by step stages, and at last you reach there. Did you reach there, or it is already within you? It is already within us. I have removed, now how to express that? I have removed all the blockages. I can say I have removed the ignorance. Why? Because potential is already within you. I have not reached somewhere else. Realizing that inner consciousness. So what is the problem with this young guy? He is totally obsessed with the objective reality, the gray matter, the autonomic nervous system, the play of the hormones. I said, sometimes your hormone is very high, that gives you an extreme calmness. But that regulation of the hormone is regulated by the autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system is regulated by the mind. And the mind regulates because the way you think and the way you act and the way you respond. And the way the garbage is there. So you have already a garbage that today also I will not get a sleep, so you don't get a sleep. He said it is so simple. I said it is extremely simple. But your mind is not ready to accept it. So what exactly I'm doing? I'm helping him to rise in consciousness. From this state of the consciousness that I will not get a sleep today, I drop it, I dissolve it, I leave it on the nature, nature will definitely gives me the sleep. I told him that is the answer to your simple question. You went for a gym and you return home and you feel full of energy. You don't feel sleepy and lazy. In those moments, you have left everything on the nature. Another word that I'm using is the nature. What is this nature? Krishna says nature is eightfold. 5 elements. Moon is sun. Moon is mind. Sun is intellect. And the last one, because of that, individuality, ego, I thought. So that I thought says I will not get a sleep.
But it's only I thoughts, it's what can be associated with something in me.
Yeah, the moment I say I thought, so it has already had a thought of the body and the mind in it. It already has an impression of my attitude, behavior, problems, stress, everything. That all together is the I thought. That is why I separate I am and I am not.
Yeah, but can the I thought be associated with real self? Or
Yes,
should it just disappear?
100%. There is a mixture. When I am speaking, it is the real I is mixed with the I thought. You perform any, because without consciousness, there cannot be I thought. So how can I say? But what is the? Who is awakened? Who knows there are two I? Who is not awakened? Who knows there is only one I? That is the difference. That is the difference. No, I don't agree with you. You simply say. So where it goes, if there is only one I will feel insulted. And if there are two I, thank you very much. You're right. Should I tell you something hard? Yes, you have taken to this. Someone intentionally insults you is one thing. Clear? I feel insulted is totally another. Did you understand this one? One praises you, you are wonderful, you are wonderful, you are very good. Very big is one thing outside. It has come from the situation. I feel big is totally another. Did you understand it?
Yeah, I understand.
So mind, because of the past impression, has attracted those thoughts which a person said to you. You feel elated when someone praises you. You go down when someone says you nasty thing. Mixture is there. I'm not able to find out. I'm not able to see the separation. The moment you see the separation, you are totally away from the nature, or situation, event, people, relationship, you are free. But that sense of freedom is clearly recognized by the first 8 steps of sadhana panchaka. I'm relating. So if you have somewhere else and you can look at it, we're going to talk. I'm laying a very strong foundation at a higher level. So once we practice these 8 steps, we find that yes, now I can see the distinction. Now I can see the difference. Now I can see I feel insulted is totally another thing, and someone insults me, I don't get insulted. Someone praises me, I don't feel big ego. Only because I can separate these two eyes completely. So that I thought belongs to the nature. Everything belongs to the nature. The real I is already settled into the consciousness. It is already big. It is already all pervading. It is already of the nature of peace and happiness. Uh, your appreciation does not give me that happiness. But that happiness of the real I is expressed in that case, and I say thank you. So let me also say thank you when someone says you are crazy. From where this thought comes? From the intellect. What the intellect does, intellect is a product of knowledge. What is that knowledge? Knowledge is consciousness. So we resolve these problems, we resolve the difficulty of understanding by the mind by these steps. That is why we use the word sadhana. Sadhak means seeker, sadhana means practice. And then we can connect easily inner potential. Our masters lived for years and years in the forest. They said, no, I'm not talking to anyone for the last 2-3 years. They went there, and then they not only they recognized and realized this absolute reality, then they again spent years together that what should be the way. And they experienced each and every moment in their life. And then they said, oh, by permutation and combination, they have created these principles. If you don't have that level of awareness, I'm not saying that level of consciousness, I'm not saying intellectual genius or mental. Intellect manipulates and multiplies the existing thought which it knows and writes a book. That's why there's a difference between revelation and book created by the intellect. That is why we say those who are revealed texts, we have to stick to those texts. So I may have a revelation, but now that revelation again come by following these practices. And these practices were revealed by those masters. So I have to rely more on those masters than my own experience. Finished. That is known as the faith. That is known as the belief in the Eastern wisdom, nothing else. It's so simple. But my mind is so much complex, I have to make the mind simple to understand the simple facts. That is the problem. There's so much of rumor, so much of false notion is spread over, even on the YouTube, if you see that, lot of stuff is there that feeds our mind. And that is why masters are saying recognize, realize that real self of the nature of the consciousness is the knower. It is the knower alone. The rest are the known. Means the rest are objective reality. Only there is one subject. So at every moment in your life, recognize how many knowers we have. It is a mixture. It is like Again, I'm coming from using the same example from the master. Master says a red hot iron ball. Iron ball cannot be red. Iron ball cannot be red. But the fire cannot be like a ball. But fire gives some properties to the iron ball. So it becomes hot. But it is temporary phenomena. You leave the iron ball outside. Within another few minutes, it becomes of the same color, the black and cold. Iron goes into their essential nature. That knower gives the properties of being a knower to the mind or intellect. It becomes I thought. Otherwise, if mind actually is the I thought or a knower, I will know that I am a sleeper. It will not go. Essential nature will not go. What is sweetness of the sugar never goes. You put in a small jar, in a big jar, in a cup of coffee or in a cup of water, it never goes. It fades away. Do you see the beauty of the understanding at the intellectual level? So that knower gives some properties, or you can say the mind becomes little hot like an iron ball, and then you say, how dare you say this, I am very big, you are insulting me. But and soon after, when I say, no, I'm extremely sorry, I never meant it, I prove it that I am wrong. Where that knower goes away. Where the knower goes away, now mind cools down, the knower dissolves. Then the knower of anger dissolves, knower of getting insulted is dissolves. Look at it, understanding. You need to sit down, read that. Don't forget to practice meditation and sit down for an hour, listen to it, sit for another hour. What is this? Contemplate and reflect. And after the reflection, stop it and see what happens. The knowledge is settled in the mind even for a few seconds and minutes, and you will see, oh, is that so? Anger should not have been there, hesitation should not be there, reaction, oh yes. What is this? Mixture. Red hot iron ball. Red hot iron ball. What a great. Same thing. Think of an ocean. Waves rise and fall, but the ocean itself remains. Now we bring in red hot iron ball, we see the two things, fire and the iron. Now we bring the same thing. Ocean. What is ocean? Is water. What is wave? Is water. You have taken the discussion to the next level. So yes, I will use it so that you'll have a glimpse of it. So the wave and the ocean or the water is not two entities. It is only one. First, I have to recognize there is a mixture. That is very important. That is the process of sadhana. I have to recognize. Because if I don't recognize the two, I cannot do any practice. If there is everything is one, and you have not done anything, you say everything is one, what should I do? You become lazy. You don't practice anything. I have to do it. But in the end, we realize the moment there is an expression, manifestation, recognition of two, it is the mind. Now I have a clarity 100%. Wave and the water are not two, they are essentially one. But the wave has taken the shape, and there is an I thought in that wave. Why there is an I thought? Because of the name in the form. Why there is a name in the form? Because I associate myself with the body and the mind, and hence I see, how can I be the ocean? I am such a small wave. It is the ignorance. I'm still explaining, yes, everything is consciousness. There is no lower and higher. But I have to reach to that state. Reach to that state, realizing inner potential. Only one knower. There are no two knowers. The moment you find there are many knowers in you, oh, he was very good yesterday, he is very crazy today. I have to recognize the two in me and dissolve it. Mind, you are crazy. Change your perception. I told this guy, you got infatuated with a girl you are looking at a distance. Did that girl told you to get infatuated? She did nothing. She was just talking. Maybe she might be talking to her husband. So the two is created in me. That is the ignorance. And once we have ignorance, then we have lower and the higher consciousness, then we have sins and the virtues, then we have anxiety and the delusion and the pride and the jealousy and the reaction. Everything belongs to this I. This too. We are sticking to realizing inner potential. So what is required? What is required? So a traditional way, in a very lower level of understanding, but that also proves, even for the higher seeker, we say spiritual practices. What does it mean by the spiritual practices? The highest one is contemplation and reflection, direct understanding, direct realization. Before that, then there is a meditation. Before that, then there is a prayer and devotion. Lower than that, you do start doing pranayama, asanas, doing the headstand poses, and then you start thinking of the energies moving here and there. Huh? Energy is already there, the sun is there, so energy is there. So it's a different gradations. So the masters have never left any issue untouched, depending on the level. So that is what we say spiritual practices. So you can add the set of some practices pertaining to the body and the mind and emotions, kundalini. Another set of practices, Raj Yoga. Another set of practices, Hatha Yoga. The spiritual practices. But you see, the meditation seems to be common. So that is why it is a higher. But higher than that, I have to understand what I am doing in meditation is contemplation and reflection. What is contemplation and reflection? It is the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. How it goes? Master says that, our master says, it has to come from the teacher who is explaining the text for you based on your level of awareness. What is all the whole process we are talking? It is self-inquiry. One word is self-inquiry. uh, Self-inquiry. So self-inquiry, I am a red iron ball. Wrong. Don't get attached to anything in the world. Because if you get attached, you will not be able to find out who am I. Now, is it true that I am red hot iron ball? That is the right question. Then we inquire. Then the self inquiry begins with the doubt. But if you take it for granted, something more is coming to my mind. So, okay. Yes, I will talk about this. So you'll understand realizing inner potential. When I claim I am a red hot iron ball, I am in ignorance, so I don't raise the doubt that am I really this red hot iron ball? Then only I am able to investigate my infatuation, my obsession, my reaction, my delusion. Otherwise, there is no way. I've taken for granted. So now the master explains that what happens when you take the things for granted means impulsive nature, unconscious, habitual. I follow the same pattern on a behavior. I take it for granted so I don't raise the doubt I'm living unconsciously like any animal. Okay, if you say that I live like animals, so there are people who live with the pleasure, pain, infatuation, no infatuation, anger, no anger, all kinds of pleasure, short lived pleasure, they are happy with it. Yes, one Upanishad explores this idea that why it is so. They are living in pain and pleasure. They lose their, they get married to Miss India. Miss India divorces them. They are frustrated and they find someone else. Why this is happening? They are repeating. They don't understand. Yes, they don't understand. But why they don't understand? We say because of ignorance, one, because of projection, that is delusion, and because of impurities in the mind. Now, but how do you explain it? It is a philosophical concept. Explain to me practically. So I made a practical metaphor for this, and it applies to everyone. Where is that? You go to the mall. You are still young, so you look at the beautiful girl. So called you are attracted. Everyone says this. No, hold on. Now, the moment that part of the attachment and the attraction has taken place, the rest of the world is blurred. Curtain. You see, I put the background, but background is not this. So when I'm attracted to that girl, what happens? The rest of the world disappears in my mind. That image of that girl becomes so big, so huge. But that is not a reality. Do you see that? So it means whenever I'm living unconsciously and habitually and animally, there is something in the mind created a big picture because of attachment. Whenever I say I like this food, I like this dress, I like this, my goodness, I have already created such a huge picture. And the entire world is absent accept that image of a girl, or image of a person who is my father who is suffering, or image of his anything. It works both in attachment and detachment. I cannot stop thinking about money who left me. That is why you are crazy. Now, you see the big picture? I cannot think anything else. My emotion still goes for him or her. One more important point. This big picture is a helper and a barrier also. You look at those masters, the way they think. It's a helper. What? It's a helper, yes. I'm a giving lesson to you, so I have to create a big picture about you to address you. Minus attachment. You see, minus delusion. That, oh, now I understand. Do you understand that? Very clearly. It's very clear. Oh, the time is there. I have to go to the office. You created a big picture of the office. That is why you reach to that destination. Otherwise, if you don't create that big picture in your mind, you will never reach to your office. Bet me. Because that big picture keeps, this street. Only this street. No, not that one. It is there. It's a helper. If I make a distinction between big picture of helper and the barrier, what is going to happen? I'm living in peace and calmness. From where it comes? From deep inside. What is deep inside is the inner. It is a different state than this one. So this one is the lower and this one is the higher. So I have to rise in consciousness. I have to realize the inner potential. Look at it. This is, at a very clear level. Now, because people cannot understand those higher aspects, or I would say this discussion, then then we have to go to those, pick up some customized practices, and we say, okay, pick up this and do this. We know that you have created a big picture and it is a part of delusion, but you don't want to raise the doubt. So I have to go the other way. The teacher has to follow the other way. What should we do? There is no other alternative, but still we say anyone and everyone is a seeker on this path. We don't say you cannot get into Harvard because your score is low. No, we don't say that. Eastern wisdom is higher than Harvard. We say we accept everyone as a seeker. MIT, no, they accept and they reject. We don't reject anyone. Everyone has to follow the path. Everyone can follow the path.